The time has finally come for a great big ANITUBER collab. 11 people whose content I really enjoy agreed to come on over and each recommend an anime they love but believe to be underappreciated or overlooked. So, do you need some recommendations? Hey, it's me again! I'll start things off with a recommendation of my own, the anime which in another video I named the best of 2012. Kids on the Slope is a story about 3 kids, an introverted classical pianist, a delinquent drummer, and this chick who are brought together by jazz. The main character is lonely, used to moving around from place to place, and overall bored with life, but all of that changes when he meets the drummer and the two form an unlikely friendship. Part of the reason I felt such a connection to this series is that growing up I also moved around quite a bit, never letting myself get too close to people, and during that time as well as now I find an escape in music. The show is really about adolescence and all the drama it entails, told through these characters' interactions with jazz. So not only is this anime relatable, it also delivers solid bop after bop. I mean, listen to this. With a soundtrack I will never stop listening to and an overall nice message about how music brings people together, Kids on the Slope is the perfect miniseries for any fan of jazz or music in general.
Hey everyone, I'm Saxy, and as a shonen nerd I went for a shonen anime, which is World Trigger. Now, many things make World Trigger amazing, but 3 that stick out to me are the power system, characters, and the world building. Now, to keep this short, I'll not go deeply into any of these, but I'll try to explain each of them separately, starting with the power system, which is probably my favorite part of the show. Essentially, the power system revolves around this thing called Trion, which everyone has inside of their body, some more and some less. It sounds basic, I know, but it gets so much more complex and interesting, and it in fact got the 6th spot in Nakstaku's top 10 power systems in anime, and if you want to know more about it, go ahead and watch that video if for some reason you haven't already. Now, the characters are what makes any show, and World Trigger has a plethora of them, and a lot of them are amazing, but I'll talk to you about my favorite, Yuichi Jin. Now, Jin is a huge flexer to say the least. He can literally see the future, and he uses that power purely to flex on people in some, let's say spoiler situations. Nonetheless, he's an amazing character with so much more to him than flexing, but I think that's his biggest trait, and that's all I'm gonna say about him. Watch the show if you wanna see more. Now, the world building is very intriguing, and to keep it brief, the whole story revolves around how there are many neighboring worlds to the Earth, and how Earth actually knows so little about them, or do they? Because the border, which is kinda a world of its own, has this information hierarchy, where the higher you are, you have more information that is being hidden from the public. Now, just as with the previous ones, there is much more to it, but I'm just giving you enough to maybe intrigue you, and that's about it. Trigger off. What, you didn't understand that? Go watch World Trigger and you will.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is JK, just CAE, and I'm going to talk about Wolf Children. What is Wolf Children? Glad you asked. Wolf Children is a 2012 anime film that centers around 2 college students who meet in class and catch feelings for each other, more or less. And just like the title, the girl learns that he's a werewolf, and they get together, have 2 kids, and then Mr. Wolfman kicks the bucket. Rest in peace. Leaving Hana, the mother, to raise 2 kids with the wolf and the human side. The story really hits home though with like the fact that a single parent had to raise kids who are different, not your normal average kid. And it shows the hardships of raising a family as a single parent. But what I like about this movie the most though, and like how it ends and everything, is like the kids realize what they wanted to do, like as the movie progressed to the end, And so like one went to live as a wolf and then the other as a human, and they're both happy, They're both like living their life. Anybody can watch it, It's family friendly. Besides that wolf death. Anyways, this is JK signing out, y'all. Peace.
Starting in 2012 and ending in 2019, the Symphogear series has spanned 8 years, 5 seasons, 65 episodes, 14 OVA specials, and over 100 songs. Yes, you heard me right. songs. Symphogear is a music anime that I promise is unlike any music anime you've seen before. The show follows Hibiki Tachibana, a would-be normal high school girl who almost dies when attending a concert that gets attacked by a mysterious alien race known as the Noise. Through this traumatic experience, Hibiki gains the power to use a Symphogear, an ancient armor-like weapon that can only be used through the power of singing, and she becomes a quasi-magical girl to fight the Noise and protect the people she cares about. Throughout the 5 seasons, she gains a number of allies who can also wield Symphogears, and they face various threats together as the show slowly and deliberately builds up to its grand finale in 2019's Symphogear XV. All the fight scenes, especially the climaxes that complete each season, perfectly combine music, sound effects, special attack moves, and emotional clashes of motives and ideals to create unmatched levels of pure hype. But hype isn't the only thing Symphogear is unmatched in. It's also, quite possibly, the stupidest goddamn anime I've ever seen, and I love it. The show constantly leans into its own stupidity, taking itself just the right amount of seriously to make the show an absolute riot to watch. There's literally a scene during a fight where the Symphogears blast through a mountain, and back at their home base, one of the assistants announces, while completely stone-faced, K2 is now only the 3rd highest mountain in the world. Senki Zeisho Symphogear is dumb, chunibyo as hell, completely over the top, pretty dang gay, and absolutely worth every single second I spent watching it.
Hello, my name is Lord Hibbets. I'm a YouTuber and a voice actor. Go subscribe to my channel. But today I'm not here to promote my channel. I'm here to talk to you guys about a very lovely and important anime to me, called Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga is an amazing anime full of amazing action, amazing animation, and amazing characters. It is a very action-packed anime, so if you're not into that, you might as well not listen to what I have to say. But if you love action, and you love Vikings, then Vinland Saga is for you. It's not just senseless violence. It's amazing. It's got amazing character, animation, and world building. It really intrigues me, and it brought me in from episode 1 to watch the whole series all the way through. If you guys are thinking of picking up an anime, especially an action-packed anime, then Vinland Saga is definitely for you. I recommend it above any other anime I could ever recommend. My name's Lord Hibbets. Yet again, subscribe to my channel, and thank you.
Thank you so much for having me here, Opal, and I am very excited to talk about Skippy, something I think is an underrated gem. Skippy follows the acting career of high school girl Kyoko Mogami and her quest for revenge. Kyoko goes to Tokyo with her childhood crush Totaro as he pursues a career as an idol. Kyoko bends over backwards to please him, taking multiple jobs and suffering his cold indifference. When she finds out he's essentially been using her as a maid, Kyoko decides to strike out on her own and take revenge by becoming more famous than the man who broke her heart. Skippy is a story of many layers. The first and most obvious layer is Kyoko trying to make it big as an actress, which is compelling enough in its own right. But then you get other layers of the story. How Kyoko being emotionally broken affects her acting. How other characters have dealt with their past, and how exactly Kyoko affects them. Acting is a major part of the story, and the writing is excellent at conveying character progression through the acting the characters are doing in the story. The series has other bonuses too. The comedy is pretty on point, though I think that's a bit subjective. I really like the character designs as well, and the plot moves along very quickly. Now, there is an anime for Skippy, but it's only 25 episodes, and it's over 11 years old, so it's probably never going to get another season. But the manga is still running, so I just recommend reading the manga, which is fantastic. All in all, I encourage you to check out Skippy if you're interested in acting and compelling character drama.
I'm just gonna come out and say it right away. Harukaen Receive is criminally underrated, and that needs to change. For a show that's as genuinely fun to watch as this is, it's baffling that it's not more popular. Harukaen follows two cousins, Haruka and Kaneda, as they form a beach volleyball pair and enter a tournament. Haruka is a complete novice, but has a height advantage at her disposal, while Kaneda is a skilled former player who quit due to feeling like her short height was holding her partner back. With this vastly different size and skill difference between them, they may seem like an odd pair, but they more than make up for it in passion and chemistry. and it's those emotions that make Harukaen Receive such a resounding success. The story doesn't get caught up on pointless melodrama. Rather, it moves at a consistent pace, characters communicate, and the show as a whole constantly emphasizes that even though the characters want to compete and win, what's just as important, if not even more, is having fun and trusting each other. Seeing them grow and take steps towards their goal is a joy to watch, and I want everyone to experience the same hype that I did as their matches got more and more intense. Throughout the show, we're introduced to numerous side characters, all of whom do a wonderful job of fleshing out the cast. Everybody serves as a sort of friendly rival. They all want to see each other become better volleyball players, and their friendships deepen as they all push each other to become better versions of themselves. And that doesn't even begin to touch on the overall production, which is excellent. The soundtrack is equal parts jazzy and tropical, perfectly complementing the upbeat vibe of the show. Whether it's a tie game, training regimen, emotional climax, or chill slice of life moment, there is always a song for it. Oh, and the opening? Absolute banger. The visuals likewise capture the summery and fun nature of the show. The color palette is bright and attractive, with the art constantly surprising me and character designs that jump out. I particularly like the way that the thighs were drawn. Wait, I meant eyes. Yikes, that was a hell of a Freudian slip right there. Overall, I found Harukaen Receive to be an incredibly entertaining show with a likable cast, fantastic soundtrack, and great visuals, and I urge anyone at all interested in a fun character-driven show to give this a shot.
When it comes to romantic comedy anime, they're usually pretty formulaic. Guy meets girl, or girl meets guy, and they start to hang out, develop feelings for each other, and by the end of the show, or even by the end of the season, they hold hands, kiss, the whole nine, you know the deal. But what if I told you there's a show that not only breaks away from the mold, but also revolves around 90s video games? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know by now, I'm going to be covering High Score Girl as my underappreciated anime. Yo, my name is Dono, and I'll be your guide on this segment's wild ride. Now, romance and comedy separately are fantastic, but if they form Voltron, you get something truly amazing. Now throw video games into the mix, and not just any video games, 90s video games, and you have one hell of a show. I'm telling you guys, this show legitimately has it all. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this show takes place in the 1990s. The story is about this kid named Haruo who is obsessed with video games in every way, shape, and form, to the point at which he spends most, if not all, of his free time at the arcade. And spending all of this time at the arcade, he's actually not that bad at playing them. But one day, while playing Street Fighter, one of his favorite games, he finally meets his match. And wouldn't you know it, his opponent that's won 29 games in a row and beaten him 7 times is actually Akira Ono, a quiet and reserved rich girl that goes to the same school as Haruo. After getting so worked up to the point at which he uses underhanded tactics to win against Ono, which earns him a right hand to the jaw, their story and relationship begins. Now, if you aren't already hyped by that description, then I don't know if the show is for you, but I highly recommend you check it out anyways. This show is going to make you laugh, especially if you're a fan of slapstick humor. It'll hit you right in the feels with emotional story development, and it'll teach you more about 90s video games than you would ever expect. To this day, it is one of, if not my most favorite romantic comedy anime I have ever watched. And hopefully, if you watch it, the same will be true for you. This has been Dono, aka TK Dono, and thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Hi, my name is Vessel, and I'm relatively new here when it comes to the anime scene here on YouTube. As of writing this script, I've only got one video up on my channel, but a second one is currently in the works, and I'm really excited to see how it turns out. Anywho, today I'd like to talk about Assassination Classroom. This isn't exactly an underrated anime, but I myself only just saw it recently, so I'd like to talk about it. Assassination Classroom is, as the name implies, an anime about a classroom full of assassins. The students in the class are the aforementioned assassins, and their target is, funnily enough, their own teacher. I feel as if disclosing why this is the case dips into spoiler territory, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Assassination Classroom is a show that I like for a lot of reasons. Unfortunately, I can't cover them all as that would take way too long, but there are 3 distinct aspects of the series that I'd like to mention. The simplicity, the comedy, and the ending. Usually, simplicity isn't something that you'd want in an anime series that targets teenagers, but in this particular case, I think it actually works quite well. The premise I covered earlier was simple, a majority of the characters are simple, and the plot is, well, simple at least towards the beginning. The premise being simple makes it easy to pick up, the characters being simple makes them easy to understand during the small amount of screen time each of them are given, and the plot being simple isn't exactly a good thing, but as I said, that changes over time. Moving on, we have the comedy, and oh boy, this is gonna be hard to talk about. As we all know, comedy is subjective, so I can't exactly say that the comedy here will work for everyone, but for me personally, it was very good. Finally, the last aspect of the series that I'd like to cover is the ending. A lot of the time, anime endings don't really hit for me. For one reason or another, I find myself being upset or unsatisfied with the conclusion that I receive. However, this isn't a problem I had with Assassination Classroom. I was not upset when it happened, and I was incredibly satisfied with the way things went. Unfortunately, I can't explain why that is, as that would be major spoilers, but trust me on this, it's a good one. Anywho, that's just about everything I'd like to say about Assassination Classroom. Thank you for having me.
My name is Eddie Hates Anime, and if you're watching this, you might not know who I am, you might know who I am, I have no idea, but this is on Opal's channel, so you know her, and she thinks my content is good, so you should subscribe to me. Okay, enough self-promotion, time to get into my segment of the video. I'm going to recommend to everybody that they should watch Major Second. Now let me explain why. What is Major Second, you may ask? It is a baseball anime about a kid named Shigeno Daigo, I think is his name. And Daigo looks up to his dad, who was a player in the major leagues and even won a crazy thingamajiggo, and he wants to be just like him, so he plays baseball. Bad thing about it is our main character is trash at baseball, so he can't be like his dad. But he gets back into the sport for some reason, and I'm not going to disclose, and he becomes very much better at it through a lot of stuff. And, you know, in the series, I think it's really cool because throughout the series, you see a lot of flashbacks to his dad's life. I actually didn't know this when I was watching Major Second, but there was a series about his dad called Major. And it's really cool if you want to get to know more about the lore of the series because he's barely in Major Second. But when he is, you wonder, like, what happened to bring him here to the point that he is today? But now you can find out if you watch that series. I personally would recommend that you watch Major Second first, which sounds stupid. It sounds like you're skipping JoJo's parts. But I had an amazing experience watching Major Second first because it was kind of like mystery around his dad, and now I know more about him, and it's really cool. It feels like just watching a prequel. And I know what you're gonna say, oh, the prequels were terrible. No! The Star Wars prequels were not terrible, okay? That's where all the memes came from. I'm off track. Back to the point. There's also a best girl in it named Sakura. No, she's not useless like the Sakura in Naruto. She is banging hot, at least in Season 2. In Season 1, she's young, so that's kind of weird. I'm not about that life. But in Season 2, she is banging beautiful and an amazing waifu for the main character and me as well. That has been Eddie Hates Anime and my portion of this video. I hope you enjoy, and enjoy the rest of the video, I guess.
Hey here, Dr. Joestar. I guess it's my turn to recommend an anime to you, so I'm gonna say da-da-da-da and why you should watch it. Now, to answer that question, because I said so. Because I said so, Izai. Now do it. Nah, but really, first of all, I said Izai. Izai is probably the best character there, at least in my opinion, because I somehow like villainous characters. But not the point. The point is, Izai is probably what Neji meant when he said dumb high IQ. I swear to God, that man is 189, and that's all you need to know about him. As for the rest of the characters, it has a main character, and you can blatantly tell who the main character is, but the background characters, the secondary characters, are so fleshed out and intricate into the plot that it's really not even important half the time, because the story goes into such detail. So while we say Makoto is the main character, because plot-wise he technically is, really, we like to say the main character is the city of Ikebukuro, because that's where the story takes place, and there's so many characters that it's a really great show, and you should just watch it. Anyways, there's so many subplots. It's a storyteller, for sure. It's not something you watch for, like, the fights, or, like, cool forms or whatever, but it's not really slice-of-life-ish either. It's that nice in-between. There are supernatural elements, but it, like, doesn't overtake the realistic themes of the show, and it doesn't get as much love as it deserves. Now, I'm sorry for any problems with this audio. I'm kind of in the middle of doing something, but I really wanted to get this to Opalescent to, you know, really be a part of this video, because she really wanted me in this video, so I'm here. So yeah, just watch the show. Dr. Joestar out.
Katachi is a repentance story about a high school student who used to bully a deaf girl. Years later, he recognizes his mistakes and makes strive for forgiveness, strive for repentance. Within 5 minutes of the film, you see the main character trying to kill himself. Just based on that scene alone, you can tell that it would be a lie to say that this film is easy to digest and say that you won't cry. I cried almost 1,000 times through my lifetime watching this film, and I would still recommend it to anyone in the world. It's not only my favorite anime film, but my favorite movie in general. Hello ladies, gentlemen, and helicopters, my name is Emperor Postal, and today, as you can tell, we're talking about Kono Katachi, or A Silent Voice. It's a fantastically well-written story, and I'm just going to give you guys a few reasons on why you should watch this film, and it does have a few flaws, but we'll get into that. Kono Katachi has many pros. Not only does it have fantastic characters, it has amazing cinematography, amazing and perfect placement scenes, with outstanding music design. The animation is outstanding as well, and even if it didn't have this complex, beautiful animation, beautiful drawings, and beautiful music design, including well-written characters, the complex storyline enough would still make the film a good watch. But moving forward, because I don't want to take all of Apple's video, I'll say a few things against Kono Katachi. It is a beautiful film, and I have to say I have far more to say about it, but I think the biggest flaw is the side characters. It doesn't go into super depth into them, but I understand that because this film was about 2 hours long and it was going through a 7-volume manga, which if you guys don't know manga and anime, that's very difficult to do. But for what it was, it has one of the most conflicting stories, and the main character and Shoko develop absolutely amazingly throughout the story, enough to even give this film a 9.5 out of 10. Even if it didn't explore the side characters as much as I wish it did. Now, if you guys want to read the manga first, I'd recommend that. It explores the side characters perfectly and makes the movie experience even better. Anyway, I don't want to share any more because I'm worried I'm going to get into spoiler alert territory and maybe get into future content on my own channel. But anyway, thank you so much, Opal, for inviting me to this collab, and I hope that you guys enjoy your next YouTuber.
And that's everyone! Wow, thank you to all these amazing creators for working with me. Months ago when I first came up with this idea, the video was just going to be me, but then I thought of certain ANITUBERs I wanted to do it with, and then found new ones whose content I also loved. And before I knew it, the collab grew to this. Everyone's channels are linked below in order of appearance, but just to make sure that you check them all out, I will now rant about these wonderful people. First off, Saxy. He does anime and character analysis videos that I love because of the obvious passion and thought put into all of them. He could talk about a sandwich he ate last week and still manage to make it interesting. JK. Normally he does awesome anime themed raps, but he's also just chill, does whatever he feels like on his channel. My favorite rap from him is the one about Stain from My Hero Academia, so go check that one out. Just be prepared with a fire extinguisher and a new laptop or phone. Rose from Celestial Nerd is a creator I recently found, and it only took one video to convince me to subscribe, although I didn't stop at one video. So needless to say, her content is absolutely worth your time. Plus we share an unhealthy obsession with KyoAni, so yeah, that's nice. Lord Hibbit's VA, as you could probably guess from his name, is a voice actor and a really good one at that. His voice is just cool to listen to, and his videos, the one I've seen so far, are really entertaining as well, so check him out. Next up, Gracie VV. Honestly, just one of the sweetest people on the planet, but she also makes great videos. She discusses anime, but a variety of other things as well, depending on what she's interested in, from Toy Story to Stranger Things. But the very first time I visited J Defense Anime's channel, I was so overwhelmed with the amount of videos that looked interesting and just how pretty the thumbnails were. He makes videos on anime, but other things like games as well, and yeah, highly recommend. And next, TK Dono, future YouTube Hokage, whose content I also love. My favorite videos from him are the ones where his dad reacts to certain anime, and those are just so funny. But he also makes plenty of awesome video essays with overall fantastic editing. Vessel doesn't have a bunch on his channel yet, but whatever he makes next will be 100% worth the watch. I've always admired his editing and how passionate he is about the videos he makes. The man, the myth, the meme lord, Eddie Hates Anime. If you're into a whole lot of trolling in the midst of amazing content, then I recommend his channel. The first thing I could say is to compare his content to that of Nuxtaku, but he obviously has his own identity and way of doing things. Dr. Joestar is another ANITUBER, also an artist who I found recently, and he makes both meme and serious analysis content. My favorite video from his is probably the anime etiquette one where he discusses the do's and don'ts of anime watching. Postal is another great dude with super entertaining videos. He likes to really dive into the themes and nuances of a character or anime, and the stuff I've watched from him so far has just been so well thought out and thought-provoking. Still here? Good! Go subscribe to all of them! Look forward to more anime and bookish content from me soon, and thank you so much for watching. See you next week.